Good evening. My name is Philip Jones and I'm a 2014 Corps member, currently serving in Southwest Houston, teaching third grade science at KIPP Sharp. Every day I have the privilege to teach 104 third graders the basic foundations of science and math. Each time I look in my students' eyes, particularly Ruby, a student who is currently struggling, I think of my own struggles as a third grader, which were immense. It also makes me think about when I first started about applying to the Corps. This was not a decision that I took lightly. As a matter of fact, I chose not to apply during my senior year because I wasn't sure of the impact I could yet make on students. After graduation, I took a job student teaching because I was struggling to find a niche for my sociology degree. And I figured, where else better to learn about the world than through the mind of a 9-year-old? On the first day of my student teaching job, when I walked into the cafeteria, I could feel their eyes fixate on me. Peeping up from their school lunches and conversations, my presence intrigued their curiosity. As the lunch period went on, curiosity would get the best of their 8-year-old minds, and in the span of 20 minutes, I fielded several questions about my profession from children. Do you play for the Miami Heat? Are you the principal? One of the students even asked if I was the father of another African-American girl. None of the questions even entertained the idea of me being a teacher at the school, as if the concept of an African-American male teacher was unfathomable. That moment was a wake-up call for me. My disposition only saddened as I returned to class that afternoon to find that the only 2 African-American boys were the lowest readers in that class. From that moment, I made it my personal mission to hold these students accountable for their success as well as myself for their academic success. Seeing broken pieces of my academic past in those boys, realizing that just like them, I was once the only black boy in class with the low score. At the time, my 2nd grade 7-year-old self could not comprehend what made me different from the other students. Even at a young age, I was struggling to really understand my identity at school and didn't have a teacher who empowered me to understand myself not only as a student, but as a black man. This pattern continued through my K-12 career until I walked through the doors of Howard University and transitioned from fitting in to standing out. As I have left Howard and re-entered the classroom, this time not as the timid boy in the back of the classroom, but as the confident, passionate educator I've become. I realize I am walking a path that very few people have chosen, as less than 2% of educators are black men. Had it not been for educators like Irene Thomas, the first educator who affirmed my identity by creating a mirror of my racial self, my life would have followed a different academic trajectory. Just like Mrs. Thomas, I strive to hold my kids to remarkably high standards, for it is those standards that have forever let my life change and have afforded me the opportunity to stand before you today. As a teacher, early in the year, I realized I was not living up to the high expectations Irene Thomas set for me until I met Glendy Martinez. Glendy started the year in my class very shy and discouraged. She could sit in the room and I would not even know that she was there. Although silent, I could tell that she was full of potential and great questions. All the questions I would get from Glendy, questions that were on topic but not in my lesson plan. Questions that made me rethinking the hours of planning I had put into this lesson. Glendy made me rethink what it meant to reach all of my students and to support 100% of my kids. As the year would go on, I found myself putting Glendy at the forethought of my planning. Out of the millions of things you say on a daily basis, you never know what will leave a kid's life change. But then one day in the middle of the year, Glendy handed me this letter. She started, "Dear Mr. Jones, you are my hero." She goes on to write, "You are my hero because you helped teach us and guide us to college. I noticed that I am good in science and math because of you and Miss Alvarez. You are so awesome and you have earned this letter. One time I had trouble with science, like I felt behind, but you came and fixed my life. I took on this role for the opportunity to teach children, not realizing the amount of things and the level of humility they would teach me. And as I sat in my car fighting back tears the next morning, I wrote her this reply. Dear Glendy, I'm no hero, you're the hero. You're a hero to others, but most importantly, you're a hero to me. I look at you and see the potential to achieve such great things and get excited that I get a chance to play a part in the greatness that will become your life story. It is because of kids like Glendy and Ruby and the rest of my 102 students that have dedicated myself to this work, and I choose to teach for America.